Hello and welcome to HRL Reach Throwback week number 2, but this is going to be round number 3 going into Cedar Ridge. So this is a track, most of these tracks on the schedule I have raced before back in the day. This is one that I personally have not raced on before, so this was a little bit of a surprise in the schedule, and kind of had to get used to it. Bit of a curveball, I would say. Like, wasn't really expecting this track, but I'm sure some people in the field have been on it before, but maybe not a whole lot. But for me personally, new MX track, and it's going to be one of 2 MX tracks that are in the schedule. The other one being Blackwater, which doesn't be raced for another like few weeks or so. But we're starting off with Cedar Ridge. Exciting new motocross, and possibly the hardest of the SX MX tracks, I would say. I would say so, actually. I would say, well, the hardest motocross for sure between this and Blackwater, but the Phoenix Supercross is pretty difficult too, so I don't know. It's pretty close, but I think this might be one of the most difficult tracks, just period, in the schedule. All right, so going through the layout, finish line jump right here. And we're covered onto the left, almost like kind of like a chicane here. But obviously more MX style. Love dipping it into the water in these MX tracks on Reach. Always sections like that on these ones built around Blood Gulch. Swinging it around into these whoops. Bringing it back to the left. Got a nice trip skis here. Going through a little puddle again. Bit of a hill there to work over as well. Big jump here. Got to be careful for these trees. Lowers the visibility a bit. One of the most tricky sections of the track right here, I would say, and possibly the most important. I think this is like the hardest one to get right, but if you do get it right, you can gain a shit ton of time, like a ton of time. And we're bringing it back to the finish for, depending on how quick you are, like around a 45 to maybe a 50-second lap time, depending on how fast or slow you are. But anyways, that is our fly through of the track. Let's get onto it. Taking a look at the gate, and funnily enough, it's actually random gate order for these SXMX tracks in the Reach Throwback, so that's another part adding to the throwback nature of the series. Random gate pick, so no heats or anything like that, total RNG going into these races on the schedule, so that's going to definitely make things quite exciting. Bit of a tier S factor there, I'd say, with the RNG starts there, but either way, we have Detail, Slaunch, Roman, Luke, Vulcan, Nuked, Blake, Q, Hunter, Soul, Opix, and Turkey. Rounding them out, it's going to be a 20-lap race on the checkpoints. That's about 221 for the leader, I believe. But anyways, going green anytime now. Gate has dropped. Looks like Detail, Luke, and Slaunch get the best starts, but are they going to come away in the top 3? Big pileup already. Blake and Vulcan having some issues there. Oh yeah, big bogs. This is a track, and to be honest, all of these SXMX tracks, I think the start is going to be very important. But especially this one, very important start on this track. Yeah, Detail doing a really good job on the start. Coming away with the lead. Good battles throughout the pack, and again, it's a long race. We've increased the moto length this week, so races should feel a bit longer. Although, low-key, I think I made Daytona a little bit longer last week anyway, so it might be pretty similar to that one. Oh, and Detail makes a mistake, hits the column, gets into Slaunch, and we have total cheese. On the first line, it gets absolutely plowed by Hunter. Soul plows into the pack as well, and we have like a 5 wide. What the hell just happened? All right, so back here with the replay, let's break down what happened here. So Detail's got a decent gap. And Luke's starting to get a run on Slaunch here, so he gets a big run on Slaunch. They both kind of carry that momentum, but Detail, I think, maybe bogs a little bit on the edge of it, and he's just a little too close, makes contact with the column, and as you can see, that pops him sideways, and the way that he recovers just gets him right into Slaunch. I mean, that's unfortunate with the way his goose came back, so they collide. Epic Talladega Nights caliber, dramatic slow-mo crash for them here. As Luke gets by clean, and this could be huge, away with the lead, and you see Hunter makes contact right there, and that's going to pop him up. Detail's now trying to get around backwards. Slaunch does recover, so he's going to get a good recovery in a second. Opix makes contact. Soul gets into Q. Roman gets into him. Vulcan is in the middle of it, and everybody's together. People are trying to get recovered. There's a literal 5 wide going into the finish line. Vulcan flips again somehow. What happened to Slaunch? What happened to Slaunch? No. What happened to Slaunch? We're taking another look. We're taking another... This crash is so ridiculous. I honestly think it deserves it. Yeah, look at this. Just absolutely ridiculous. This might be one of the biggest lap 1 pileups that we see. Oh, Slaunch hit a column 2! He hit a column 2. We saw it on the right-hand side of the screen. Oh, that is unfortunate. Slaunch with a big mistake. Shout out to new dad, by the way. Slaunch, new dad. Shout out. Congrats on the baby, Lamau. It's not really the cleanest segue in the video. But, oh, wait. Here's the segue, though. Returning the gamer tag. The Papa Slaunch gamer tag is back. So if any new viewers hear me say that name, and I'm watching Ace Helix, and they're like, what the hell? Well, now they won't get confused. So, new dad, like actual dad, and ouch, soul. And the gamer tag back as well, so it's pretty hype. But what's not hype is the start of this race. The start of this race is very rough for Slaunch. Just the cheese that has gone down, it can't get much worse. And unfortunate mistake in the column hit, because if he didn't hit that column, he would have had such an advantage. Such an advantage. Just even for podium. Not even, he doesn't even have to compete for the lead if he doesn't want to. Even just for finishing on podium, he's at such a great position. But yeah, big mistake, and unfortunately cost him huge. And Nuke might be making a nice pass around the outside right there, too. Word to Eminem, sorry, I had to do it. Oh, Opix actually brings it back around the outside in the next one as well. So good battle between the two here. And is it actually, let's take a look here. Somehow Detail is recovered into second with a big gap already. I don't know. I don't know. After being involved in all that cheese, I have no clue how that just happened. But somehow, some way, he's already got a massive gap into second back. Oh, Blake going down right there, getting way too loose. And yeah, so that's Detail in second right there. That's Luke off to the right. So that's the gap for 1-2. And as you can see, that start, I mean, it's going to be a big gap for Luke. And even a big gap for Detail with however the hell he was able to recover so quickly. Wow. Q, aggressive right there. Popping that 2-wheel. Opix and Turkey battling over there. Nuke settling into podium position as we have a great 3-way battle right here. It's not... I can't make that reference. Shout out Lonely Island. Anyways, Roman making the move to the inside. Q makes a mistake, goes way too wide. Oh, nice move from Roman. Gonna send it back to the inside of Uncle Blake here. Definitely leave in the comments if you got the reference. Couldn't go all the way on that one, unlike them, Lamau. Blake holding on to the spot from Roman right now. This is going to be a trolley commentary, I guess. That's just not really, that's just going to happen. I don't know. Not forced, it's just going to happen. But a few laps deep, top 3, still going to be Luke, Detail, Nuked, and then Turkey and Opix are really close, and then Blake and Roman are really close. Oh my god, Q just absolutely chowed Soul, and got a little help from Vulcan on the recovery, honestly. I think he would have been pretty conked on that recovery if Vulcan didn't make contact. Let's take a look. This backpack is getting ridiculous right now. Let's get on board with new dad, Papa Slaunch. I am going to try to stop calling him out as that throughout the race, but it's hard not to. And see if he can work his way by some of these drivers. Because, again, I'm sure he's got some pace. You know, generally a Supercross MX driver. But, yeah, this start, anybody is going to have a rough time getting back through the pack with how bad of a start he had. So we'll see how he can do it here for a little bit. And I'm not going to lie, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm acting like this is a natural transition into an onboard point of view, but it's not. I definitely spit on my screen, and I'm cleaning it off right now. And I got it cleaned off. So now we can go back into the normal view if we wish, but we're going to finish watching this lap first. Slaunch sending it to the inside of Soul. Not quite able to make the full run. Yep. Oh, they're making gains on Vulcan, though. And honestly, Hunter's not that far behind. Take a look where everybody else is. Roman still behind Uncle Balake, trying to get up to him there. Opix not too far behind Turkey, and so far, this is honestly a great start for Opix, running top 5 in an SX MX race, which I can't remember the last time he's finished top 5, if ever, to be honest. Not a roast, but like actually though, I can't remember the last time he's finished in a top 5 in one of these races. So running in the top 5 right now, it's got to be pretty freaking happy with that. And then a big gap at that as well. Like you could take a look. The next closest 2 drivers are Uncle Balake and Roman, and they've got quite a bit of ways to go to catch up to him. Oh, that was a close call though, but able to hold on to it there, trying to catch up to Turkey. But let's take a look at the podium gaps, and yeah, it's absurd. So here's Luke hitting the tree jump right now, and then we're going to wait a few seconds, and then Detail's going to come up, hit it right now, and then Nuked is going to come up and hit it right now. So the gaps for the podium are pretty nuts. That being said, oh, Soul going down there. There's some pretty good battles going on. I think Opix might have just made a move right there on Turkey. He does. He gets by him. Can Turkey fight back? Oh, he kind of went for it and botched it. So now Opix will have a decent gap on Turkey. Roman gets by Uncle Balake and is going to try to work his way up to Turkey as well if he can. And Roman, honestly, on a pretty good recovery drive right now, because at the end of lap 1, he was in second to last, I think. Wow, Vulcan and Slaunch really duking it out. Slaunch getting some contact with the wall. Oh, he gets the bog, the extra bog, because that is tough. That is tough. You'd think after losing the weight from giving birth, he wouldn't bog right there. That doesn't make sense. He's a dude. Anyways, side-by-side battle between Slaunch and Soul. And Slaunch trying to... Oh, wow, the run from Soul is going to give him that position. And yeah, he's going to hold on to it for sure. Soul with a great run. Going to hold on to that one. And look at this. Oh! Balake going down. Big mistake. Big mistake. Look at this. Vulcan is up there now. Big mistake. He's way back with the backpack now. So that's a massive mistake for him. He's having a great run, honestly, and yeah, it's gonna set him back really far. Who that does work out for though, I think Opix must have made a mistake as well. So now Turkey and Roman are back up to 4th and 5th. Opix on the outside looking in. So this is honestly great for Roman. Let's go on board with him for a bit. Let's take a look. Luke's on 101. So we're getting pretty close to the halfway point for the leader. But again, only halfway point, so still quite a ways to go. This is quite the long race. Again, going for the classic, you know, single motos for the tracks, but longer races. And Roman going for the line, the speed line, not able to hit it. Makes column contact, and honestly could have been worse. But that being said, I mean, he was still making gains on Turkey. This is going to set him back quite a bit, so Roman going to have to focus back up. Roman on Team Soul, because we don't have team names yet. Working on it. But yeah, trying to put in a good finish for them here on Cedar Ridge. Let's take another look at lead gap. Right there is lead, and Detail hits the line right there. So the gap might have even increased a little bit. I honestly think it might have increased a little bit. So the lead gap is quite large. Detail and Nuked for 2nd and 3rd are like not that far away though. I mean, it's a big gap, to be fair, but it's one Detail mistake away from it not being a big gap though. So that's kind of workable now. We'll see if Nuked can put in some good laps and make things interesting there for 2nd. Oh, I think that's Q. That's Q. Okay, he's trying to get out of the way. I was gonna say if that's a driver making a mistake, but I think he's just trying not to cheese anybody. And is this? This is. So this is Luke putting Vulcan a lap down, and you see Vulcan gets out of the way there, but again, over the halfway point now, I believe, putting Vulcan a lap down. So yeah, starting to get a few more of these drivers lap down. And again, I don't think this is going to be the case on all these SX MX races or GP races even. But on this one, I could see it. On this one, I could see it because this track is very difficult. And also the MX tracks in general. I mean, Supercross as well. Like, if you do make a mistake, it can be so much more costly than it can be. Because on ovals, you can, you know, hopefully get a caution. And potentially on GPs too, because with Road America, there's literal fall off the map potential. So we have to see what we're going to do on that one. But yeah, you can, like, usually make a recovery. These SX MX races, though, no cautions. You know, you're not going to get any help there. And the flips tend to be more brutal. So, you know, when you make those mistakes, it can be really, really tough to recover from them on these races. And that's why these tracks, as much as anything, like, don't get me wrong, pace is important, but one of the most important parts for all types of racing, but especially for these SX MX races, I think, is just cutting down on your mistakes. If you cut down on your mistakes, you can finish positions ahead of where you are on pace. Like, seriously, ahead of people that will have faster pace but will mess up. That's one of the most important parts about this. And it's something that, you know, I'm sure if some people worked on, they'd probably see some improvement in their results and, you know, be more in more competitive positions. But things could get interesting right now because Balake, Slaunch, and Soul, I got to keep doing it, are still in this three-way battle here. But Luke is coming up behind, potentially for blue flags. So if he gets involved in that, you know, that could shake things up for them. And then do they make a mistake? Do they make a mistake in front of him? Like, do they cost some time? and allow Detail and Nuke to catch up a little bit, that's a factor too. So things could get interesting here. Sol and Slaunch still battling it out. Roman has overtaken the position from Turkey meanwhile. So again, Roman, honestly, got to highlight it on a really good recovery drive. Turkey, not the line. Opix slamming it in and making the block pass work. What a move. And is going to get quite a bit of space off of that as well. So Opix just absolutely sending his way back into the top 5. Oh, and we have a good battle here for Sol and Slunch as well. Trying to go for the crossovers, trying to watch as many of these on-track battles as I can. They're both so close. Yeah, Turkey got it back. Turkey got it back on Opix as well, but I think Opix might have the outside run. We're watching these guys as well. They're messing up. Luke's coming by for the blue flag. Oh, this could get spicy. 3 wide. You have to be careful for blue flags as well. Sol is just going to have to concede and try to get close enough to take advantage of when Luke blue flags them here as well. He's going to try to get to the inside of Uncle Balake here as well. Try to lap him. And it's tight on this track. It's tight. Like, the amount of room there is honestly deceptive because you have to be so careful, like, not being on the edges of these jumps. And, like, some of the columns honestly kind of feel like they jut into the track. I'm not sure if they do or not, but it really feels like they do. So, like, when the drivers hit the columns earlier, I don't blame them for that because that's one thing I noticed when I was practicing this track is that the columns, they really do feel like they jut into the line in some spots. So that's one of the aspects of this track that you have to be careful for. And that's why, like, in these blue flags and in these battles, it gets so tight because it's just the track is, like, deceptively open. Like, it looks more open than it is. This track feels very, very tight when you're in a battle with another driver on it, which is usually not the case in MX races, right? That's usually not the case. Used to these tracks feeling very wide open and having lots of line choice, lots of space. Not the case for Cedar Ridge, and that's part of what makes this one interesting, I think. But Luke hitting the line this time by 177 on the checkpoint, so getting closer to the end of the race, but not quite there yet. Let's just get it a quick update in the field. Detail running in second. He's going to be putting a Vulcan in a lap down, so we saw Luke put Vulcan a lap down quite a while ago. So that's, like, again, another idea of the gap there. But Detail still having a strong run in second place. Nuked. Here he is in third. He's having a strong run as well. Maybe lost a bit of time on Detail. Maybe had a rough last couple laps. But, I mean, he's still uncontested in third. I mean, he's chilling on the podium right now. Can't be too upset at that. Roman in fourth. Great recovery drive so far. He's done a really good job. I'm pretty sure he was second last after lap 1. So that's a great recovery drive for him. We've got we got Turkey and Opix still duking it out here. Turkey has the position for now. Opix behind him, and Luke is coming up on yeah, that's Q getting out of the way. So yeah, Luke's coming up pretty close to them as well too. So they could have some lap traffic blue flag factors in. Slaunch running behind them, and he's got a bit of a gap now. So I think Slaunch has got to be pretty happy with this recovery drive at the moment, considering how shit his race has been, if that makes sense. How many, like, mistakes and just rough instances. I feel like his position could be, obviously it could be a lot better, but it also could be so much worse. So you got to look at the positive here. He's in a pretty good position considering how much shit has gone wrong for him this race. And then we're going through the field still. Detail trying to put trying to put Blake a lap down. So Blake's the next one up after Slaunch. Sol, gaps are starting to get stretched a little bit. Vulcan, and then a Hunter, Q, in some sort of a lapped order. Q's definitely in last. I think Hunter in second last. That's kind of what we're looking at right now.
Checkpoint reached.
But yeah, pretty good race on Cedar Ridge so far, and the start was absolutely nuts. Nuked putting Vulcan a lap down right now. But yeah, the start was crazy. That was honestly one of the craziest HRL starts we've seen all year. I gotta say all year. That might be the craziest start all year. I know it's recency bias, but it's gotta be top 5, right? Like, I'm trying to think of some other ones, and maybe it's just right now, but nothing's coming to mind. Like, that start was absolutely nuts. And let's go on board with the leader right now, because we're coming close to white flag, and Turkey makes a big mistake right there. And that might be it for that Opix Turkey battle. That might be it for that Opix Turkey battle. A huge mistake for Turkey coming late. And Opix just has to not mess up as we go on to just making sure the white flag one more time around for Luke, and he can take his first win of the season here on Cedar Ridge. Just got to put in one more clean lap. The gap behind a Detail, that's Detail back there, so could make a pretty big mistake and honestly still have some wiggle room. So all you have to do is bring it home at this point, and don't even really have to worry about blue flagging Opix either, because there's just no point in the at this point. So Opix has got to be pretty happy with that, because you know, he doesn't have to worry about blue flagging. He should be able to hold on to this from Turkey. Again, doesn't have to run any fast line. He's got a big gap. Just run it clean. He'll take a top 5 and an MX rate. But that being said, though, he has another lap. Remember, he's getting close to being put a lap down, so he's got another lap to go. But anyways, coming around for the final time, Luke's going to do it. Taking his first win of the season, pulling off the track immediately. First place at Cedar Ridge. Detail, not the start that he wanted, but a very good finish. I don't know how he recovered so well. Taking second nuked, taking third. And it's going to be a bit before we have fourth place. Well, the gaps on the SXM, they're always going to have crazy gaps, so we're going to be waiting a bit here. All right, so yeah, Q still a lap down. Telling you, it's going to be a bit. Hunter still a lap down. Look at the gaps, look at the gaps. Here's fourth place. There we go. Roman coming across the line, fourth place. Taking the next top 5 position, and Opix will hold on to it. Great top 5 result for him. His best result on the finish so far. Don't think he expected it to come on this track. Slaunch ends up passing. Turkey must have made another mistake. Slaunch ends up passing Turkey at the end. Turkey must have made another mistake on the last lap. Blake coming in behind him. Man, that's a heartbreaker for Turkey. 5th to 7th in the last 2 laps. Soul coming up. Vulcan as well. And enough of them have crossed. I'm going to start reading out the official finishing results. So, to recap it again, it is Luke 1st, Detail 2nd, Nuke 3rd, Roman 4th, Opix 5th, and Slaunch 6th, and Turkey 7th. I have to burp. All right, we're good. Blake 8th, and Soul 9th, and Vulcan 10th, Hunter 11th, and Q in 12th. So that's our final results for Cedar Ridge. Our first SX MX race of the season. And it was a good one. And we're going to go this way. But anyways, it was a good one. Pretty crazy opening lap. Some good on-track battles, honestly. There's a lot of really good on-track battles throughout the race. And yeah, but next race, we're going to Big Bear. So we're going right from like most challenging MX in the schedule to most challenging oval on the potentially most challenging. There's another one that might compete with it, but at least top 2 most challenging oval. Okay, we'll say the most challenging pavement oval on the season coming up in Big Bear. So that's going to be an exciting one. Again, started off the season pretty tame and just throwing these drivers to the wolves right away. Hope you guys enjoyed the Cedar Ridge race and stay tuned for Big Bear coming up.